to wake up and like, first thing kids show up and stuff like that. And they, kids are needy, so they got things they need to do. That's all.
That's kind of funny because
Okay.
that's the like very first thing that Harold asks is like, do the kids still climb in your bed like unannounced? So it's just kind of ironic that as soon as you wake up, they pop in.
Yep.
No, yeah, no. My little man was in bed with us. Like he's 5 years old. He's been like if he's not sleeping in our bed, he's sleeping in his oldest sister's bed. And
Yeah.
it's not even that he sleeps in our bed. He sleeps on my side of the bed, like right next, like cuddled up with me. Like he's basically spooning me, like I'm a little spoon to him type deal. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but apparently I have body heat or something like that, and he likes to be around warmness. So, usually that's usually, and he'll start off in his bed, mind you, but like at some point in the night is when he comes over and like sleeps in our bed. So all of a sudden I get kicked in my side. I look over thinking like, what the F? And it's like, it's him, you know what I mean? So, and then at that point, it's like, all right, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. All right, I'll just deal with it, you know what I mean? Versus trying to get him up and put him back in his bed. So
Yeah.
that happens. And my daughter, she was the same way for a minute. She was like sleeping in our bed all the time and stuff. At that point, he was in the crib. Um, and then I guess like, she just kind of grew out of it, especially like once like we got them bunk beds. So like, and she has the top bunk. So, she actually likes sleeping in that or whatever, I guess. So it's just a matter of time until he does the
Yeah, we're
same,
adjusting to
hopefully.
that too. We got bunk beds set up.
Bunk
Bro, bunk
beds.
beds is a vibe. They're gonna love that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I had bunk
Bunk
beds with
beds
Sure.
is
him too
fun.
for a minute. Yeah, he was the same way a little bit, but he came to the bedroom and we always took him back, and she used to just take him there and just lay with him or sit with him until he finally went back to sleep.
Mhm.
Until I put him into that, I was like, nah, dude, you can't just sit there next to his bed for a few hours. Like he needs to learn. Like nah, he needs to go to sleep by himself so you can actually get a good night of sleep too. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's that, and that's
Makes
the comfort.
sense.
So like you're saying, Brian, like it's that warmth, but it's also that safety net. It's that comfort, so he feels comfortable and safe laying next to you.
Yeah.
So that was the same with the daughter too. Like sometimes she wanted to cuddle with me because when she had like a bad day or she was scared or what have you, it's just that comfort, that safety
Mhm.
net.
Well, happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Happy
y'all.
Father's
Appreciate
Day
y'all.
for sure.
Good to see y'all.
Appreciate you
Yeah,
guys being able to adjust the time for me a little bit. And 9 o'clock would have been like okay. And then when I kind of mentioned, hey guys, I'm gonna be podding at 9, I got the whole okay, we'll just move some things around. So I was like, I don't know what y'all planning, but let me ask if I could do 8. So without,
Oh,
how like they're like, it's your day, so whatever. But I'm like, well, I don't want to ruin any plans y'all had. So thank you guys for being able to
that's
adjust a
dope.
little
Yeah,
bit.
no, that's appreciated. Yeah.
for sure. Like
The
I said, I'm up for whatever. Shoot, I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, so it's whatever.
so
Yeah.
Quincy, question for you then. Um, I know you kind of have like a new situation going on. Does she know about the podcast?
Yeah, I talked about her for the last few times. I actually talked to her yesterday. I think about it. I was like, oh yeah, we doing our podcast tomorrow. I haven't like showed her any videos or anything like that, but I talked to her about it and told her
You
like,
told her
yeah,
Google me?
nah, heck no. I just told her we've been doing it basically since COVID, and we didn't start recording at first, but we try to do it at least once a month, and we've been recording for at least the last couple of years. So it's been on point.
No.
That
Just
would have
having
been funny if
conversations with
like
the
you
homies. Just,
that would have been funny if like she met you
was,
through the pod where like,
uh,
oh, like, oh, are
Groupies?
you on that black and nuanced? Oh my gosh. And like that would have been crazy, but obviously we ain't popping like that or whatever.
When
So
we
it's
do
all
our
good.
tour, maybe. Uh,
Ah,
I didn't even.
but I know Chanel be chiming
I'm
in
not
about
sure if
now.
it's my internet, but you broke
Yeah, it's a little choppy.
up. Okay.
Um, so I know
is it
Chanel be chiming in. She's present, but I haven't heard much if Mildred is tuned in, if she catches some clips of it.
She does. Well, because a lot of times when we're done, I'll go, and if she's awake, we'll talk about it. I'm like, oh yeah, we mentioned this, we mentioned that, and I'll play her some of it, like when you put it out. So there's certain conversations where I'll be like, "Ooh, you would have had a slice with this one," or like, "Here's what I said here. What did you think?" Or like all that good stuff. So yeah, she watches it. She watches it here and there. She's not really a pod person. Like even like pods that I say that she would like for her thing, she'll fully listen to it. But I'm like, well, if you listen to audiobooks, it's kind of the same thing. Like just throw it in the background and just listen to the conversation. You don't have to really watch the but the one thing she always does too when it comes to me, she's like, "Well, I like for you to have your separate thing," because even before this pod, I do my homies pod, the sneaker podcast too. So like when I'll be like, "You didn't watch that?" She's like, "That's like your own separate thing." So I want to have that separatism and that's your like hobby. So I'm like, "All
That's
right,
good. Yeah, I like that.
I like it
Yeah,
too." You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I can get my ish off too. You know what I'm saying? Because I know she ain't gonna listen.
Well,
respect.
the funny thing though is, so like sometimes Cindy will chime in and she'll say, it would be cool if you got like the girlfriend's or the spouse's thoughts and opinions as a like a almost like a see if you can determine what your husband is going to say on the podcast, or like what do you think of their comment or their claim, whatever. It's just like a chiming in or like even a guest spot. But I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they would like that or not. I don't know if they would feel like now I got a someone looking on my shoulder, or if I had to censor myself in any way. I don't know if Don, you're curating who you show to Mildred.
I am fully
Well, we talked about
transparent.
that kind of the once when we're gonna say we should have them on when we're talking about the beauty
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah.
So we
I'm still
talked.
down for that. I'm
Yeah,
down
I'm
for that,
still
by the
down.
way.
Does
Yeah.
she, by the way, does she have a favorite? Because a lot of times Cindy will actually say that Dawn's takes are her favorite. So you have a
Hey,
fan.
hey, let's go, Cindy. Shout out to you. No, not necessarily. I think I don't know. She does like how she's like she likes our music takes, you and I, and then she does say the few times I've showed her clips, she's like, I like how Brian always like is the contrarian to you. And I'm like, honestly, so do I, because like now I can get my we can always have dope conversations. But so she does like that. She's always like, I like how he always challenges you. I'm like, yeah, he does challenge me. It's true, but that's what makes it entertaining. So
There it
yeah,
is.
she the pieces I show her, she does show me what her favorites are.
That's what's up.
Brian, you gonna say something?
I don't recall that I was gonna say something, but going back to the girlfriends and wives thing or whatever, like obviously like you mentioned with my wife, she'd be listening in on occasion, and like Don just mentioned, unfiltered. I'll say what I say, and that's got me in the doghouse sometimes. But it is what it is. It's like like, am I gonna be real or keep it real? Like Dave Chappelle, keeping it real, going wrong type deal, right? So you know, um, if we got it organized with all the significant others and stuff, and they were able to like have a little mini pod or have a little guest appearance on the pod, sure, that'd be cool and whatnot. I again, it's like I'm indifferent. Like whatever happens, happens because that's the way things go, I guess.
Well, not
But
even that. Like the way I look at it too, it's like, fam, me specifically, like, yo, I've been with her, not married, but like collectively for like 20 years, like half of my life. So like, you know what the
yeah,
hell I'm gonna say, and like, I don't think there's anything in this world I could say to make you go look at me different. Like, you know who I am. You've practically grown up with me. So like, yeah, that's why I'm super transparent in everything I say.
There's still times where like even though I've known Cindy now 17 plus 18 years, like there's still things I say that surprise her. And she's like, oh, I
Really?
didn't really know about that. So that's always actually kind of fun when you find out and discover. One
Well,
of which we might talk about later.
I was really quick, like surprised on like your takes in life, or surprised about something about you personally that she didn't know about.
Oh, about me personally, not necessarily my takes.
Oh, okay, okay. Because the only thing that she might or Mildred might be surprised about me is like, really, you feel that way about this, or like if there's a current event and like she's like going all the way, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. But aside from like me, yeah, I don't know if there's really anything that
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
learned
yeah.
as of
That's good.
recent. You know
Good.
what I'm saying? So I don't know. I was curious, but anyway, go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
with old girl like I talked about, and like I said, as right now, it's not my lady. We're not together. It's just a homegirl. But but I told her a few of my takes on certain things, and she agreed or disagreed, or I said, oh boy said this, I said this to that. But with my with the previous, when she was here half the time. We had them, or she heard some of the stuff, or we talked after the fact, and some of the stuff she didn't understand. Some of the stuff she's like, okay, yeah, oh, I see that. Well, we always talk about it afterwards because we usually hit a breakfast after whatever. She's like just waiting for breakfast. So I'm like, all right, I'll be done in a little bit. We'll hit up
So,
the spot. And
so when you're dating, is that a what's your preference? Do you want them to kind of be included and you want to have that conversation, or do you want them to allow you to have your separate space?
I only realistically dated one person since we started this, so I I don't know. Like, and I would share my point of views. I'll share, it's a part of me, part of what I do. So I talk just like I'll say, hey, I had a bad day at work. This is what happened, about X, Y, and Z. So I'll share like this is a dope conversation. Help, it's the homies. Like we talk for good 2 hours about everything. So it's a part of me that I wouldn't mind sharing. So I don't mind it.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily need them to sit down and watch the whole cast or anything like that. If they want to, I'm not hiding it from them, but it's not necessarily like you have. Hey, I want you to watch this. I wouldn't mind showing it, but I'm not like, hey, go ahead and watch that for me and let me know what you think. Nah,
Yeah,
like I said, I only realistically been in one relationship since this has been going on.
I got you. So, anyways, um, trying to think of what a question I want to ask you. I got several, but I guess we could start with oh boy, who's been somewhat of a disappointment. Are you guys following this like Mayweather situation?
Why has it
Not
been a
really.
disappointment?
Well, I mean,
We saw this coming a long time
in
ago.
case, I mean, we kind of did, but I mean, is it? So the question is basically, is he another athlete going broke statistic, or is it different because, to have that type of money and to not get the same, breaks because of tax breaks, philanthropy, offshore businesses, all the other types of things that people use as loopholes to maintain that wealth? Is it just like, oh, well, if he wasn't black, he'd be able to do this, like a Warren Buffett, like a, this and that. Um, I'm just like, is it his fault? Like, does he have agency and he made stupid investments and that's his own dang fault? Or is it like, well, if he had, the complexion for the connection, as they call it, he'd be able to manage this better and he wouldn't be in the same predicament that he is now. He wouldn't be getting sued left and right.
Uh,
I'll
I'll
make this.
jump in there.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. That's all you.
All right, well, I'll make mine because I know very little of it other than seeing clips and stuff of him going broke. So I don't know the whole get down, but I would lean more towards it being the former and not even equating him to most athletes that go broke. But this sounds like MC Hammer style broke in the sense of he had like a load of money, like crazy amount of dollars, and was flaunting it like nonstop and putting money here, there, making $1 million bets and all that junk. And you get a little careless with it. And yes, he probably didn't have those resources to, again, find ways philanthropy and whatnot to get around taxes and so forth. Or maybe he just was too big on himself, thinking, "Hey, I got enough money, like whatever, the money will last for forever." I feel like, again, from an outsider, not knowing a lot about it, what it looks like that is the case, but uh, not surprising, not really affecting me or whatever. I enjoyed Floyd Mayweather as a boxer, but yeah, his personal life and all that, I'm like, yeah, unfortunate, I guess, but that's about it.
Don, what were you about to say?
Uh, it is absolutely nothing to do with color. Nothing at all. This is him just purely being stupid. 100%. It's clear cut and dry. We've been seeing it for the latter part of a decade. His spending habits, he's got way more coming or going out than coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he maybe made close to $1 billion total with all his purses. But when you look at the purchases, the houses, the cars, 5 cars a week, all the jewelry, the massive shopping sprees. The funniest part with me is like he goes on his Instagram or whatever platform he's on and consistently tells us, "Oh, I'm out here spending another 500,000 a day. It's like it's nothing. I'm money made all day, money made all day." But like the behind the scenes, we're like going like, "Well, what are you doing to bring money in after boxing?" To me, this has nothing to do with color because you look at some of our, I guess if you want to say black billionaires or black businessmen. I mean, Magic Johnson has been a billionaire since like the late 90s, and he's doing it the right way. He doesn't flex. Yeah, he's on a yacht all the time, but he's not flexing, going out doing this, that, and the third. Shaq is, a phenomenal businessman. He hasn't necessarily been in, NBA in forever, but he, took his money and invested in all these other areas. And I'm sure he didn't have Warren Buffett in his back pocket or Elon Musk or Bezos, but he aligned himself with the right businesses, and now his money's making money for him, and he's out here chilling. Again, he's not out here doing like, I got the Audemars 500,000 piece watch, this and that, and throwing it in everybody's face. If anything, he's doing the opposite. Like, he goes to a random Walmart, sees somebody, and helps them out. I'm not saying Floyd Mayweather should do that, but we've never seen him do that at all. All we
Yeah.
keep seeing him is it's me, me, me. I'm number one. I'm number one. And his investments that he's done, he went and got a strip club in Vegas. How's that doing? Like, not so hot. Or he always aligns himself with something like, oh, guys, I'm with the number one jeweler. Like, that's not really something you invest in. You know what I'm saying? Invest in some gold, but not invest in jewelry, aftermarket jewelry pieces. Hey, I'm out here in Miami. I just bought some hospitals so I can for nose jobs and things of that nature. Like, he's like, I'm with the number one people out here that can get your feet done. Like, this is things he's done and things that he's tried to invest in. Like, no one cares about that. So you out here spending all this money and you're not really fighting. You're putting on these poor exhibitions out in Tokyo that no one really cares about. So yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but to end it, he is not. I don't feel sorry for him. We saw it coming. I think he's a clown, to be honest. I'm disappointed in the fact that he had the opportunity to do something great, not just for himself, but for his family, and kind of set up generations, because this is generational income that he had coming in. You know what I'm saying? So for him to kind of fumble the bag the way he has, and now it's all coming to light, it is sad, but I mean, he's corny. I'm sorry.
Yep. Quincy?
Okay. Now, I agree partially with Don and Brian, but like it's more of a like it's disappointing. Like I said, I liked him as a boxer. He's my favorite boxer, still is. Think he's still the best. You know, I watched pretty much all his fights since he was Pretty Boy Floyd, since the money, all that good stuff. Like, should even me and you like we're at the homeboy Davis house watching the fight, watching the Guida fight. So like watching like always watching stuff. It's just disappointing the fact that this is going on. Like, it's that, inward rich, that ghetto rich, like, like you just wasting money on trivial stuff, like buying this ridiculous amount of cars, like $1 million car, millions of dollars of watches, you know, it is what it is. I'm not, like I said, not sad, but it's just disappointing the fact that
Yeah.
this is going on. Like you were saying, it's generational wealth. He could have set something up, and he could have did. This he still could have money. I don't know the truth of it. They've been saying he's been going broke for the last 10 years, and they've been saying it for 10 years, and they may still say for another 10. You never know. But shoot, when he fought, that's why he said, "Oh, I fought Pacquiao because I was going broke, and I fought this person because I was going broke." Like, that was 10 years ago, and he's still spitting millions every year. So it could just
Yeah.
be another thing.
So the latest thing, he's taken, like, I want to say 3 or 4 fights this year, which people say that's a sign, because you went from, and some of them aren't even exhibitions, they're like supposedly sanctioned fights. But the reason why he was taking some of those and announcing them early was because I guess he was getting advances. So he
Mm-hmm.
could get an advance payment before the check of the fight. So he got an advance for that Tyson fight that was supposed to happen in April. And he had already kind of spent it on other bills, and yet that got either postponed or delayed or canceled. And people are like, "Well, you need to get that money back, whatever. We gave you an advance, and it's not happening." So, and he's like, "Well, I mean, kiss my," and that's not how you do business. And so there's things like that in which you supposedly are fighting a kickboxer, you're supposedly fighting Pacquiao, you're supposedly fighting Tyson, and why? Like, if you're resting on 800 million, so the disappointment for me comes where, like you said, he supposedly had this generational wealth. He didn't grow out of that like spending, shopping spree mentality. You would think you'd like run out of things to buy, or you'd run out of
Yeah.
little trinkets to try to impress your little entourage. And you would probably make your circle smaller after you no longer have to worry about security and fights and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of one of the disappointments. And then the other thing is, um, he basically there were so many people that were rooting for his downfall because of how, how much of a braggart he was. And yet now he's like proving them right.
Hmm.
It's like he's giving them the ammunition to say, see, we can't give them anybody nothing, you never should have gave y'all money. and
Hmm.
and
Basically,
see how they
yeah.
waste it and squander it. We gave you an opportunity, and yet you didn't make your people better. You didn't uplift any community. You didn't even go back to Michigan. So it just proves them right that, he was always a buster, even though he was a brilliant fighter. And so that's where I get disappointed.
Hmm.
I feel
Well,
you.
it depends on
Yeah.
what they're hating on. Like if they're hating on his success and saying like, "Oh, you're going to be a failure," and so on and so forth. I mean, to an extent, yes, he was at one point like probably the greatest boxer for, a given period or whatever. And he did make a success. If they were hating on him in the sense of like, "Oh, you're not, doing anything positive with it, or you're going to be a washed up bum later on," then yes, that part I agree with you. But I mean. I don't think it's like I think the most people that were hating on him were hating on him because of that bravado and like I'm the best and talking all this stuff he's talking. And that's not, like, oh yeah, see, we told you. I mean, no, he was the best, you know what I mean? So that part of people are hating in that aspect. I'm like, like, okay, yeah, now you can like talk about him because he's poor and stuff like that, but he still at some point was the best. So I,
Well, I
I I
think
don't think it's like, yeah.
the stigma on the hate for him overall, obviously while he was boxing, was like he never fought anybody like of stature or of a name that like can solidify him as the best, right? But that hate was always quickly kind of shoved on the rug because it's like, listen, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, Mayweather was probably the best boxer, 50-0. He had the greatest defense, you know what I'm saying? Like he's undeniable. He worked hard, he deserves all that. But a little bit after that, a lot of it more was his just demeanor overall. It was his like it wasn't even a braggadocious. It was like I could do whatever I want and you can't tell me anything. I make the most money. I am the draw. I am boxing. I am this. I am that. So once you start adding that to his boxing career, it kind of waters down what we feel about him as a boxer. We can't the second you hear Floyd Mayweather, you don't think, oh man, what he did against Sugar Shane Mosley, what he did against Pacquiao, what he did against De La Hoya. You don't think about that. You think about how annoying he is, or how, the joke with 50 Cent says he can't read, or like how he's not. It's the stigma's always been like he's not the brightest person, and now unfortunately it's clearly showing because you had buku bucks, buku fam, and then you went out and bought the same car 50 times. Like, how many times do you have to buy a Ferrari? The same Ferrari. How many times do you have to buy a McLaren? Oh, I got the new 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. Like, these are 2.2 million a piece. And you're buying them all. Okay, in my house in Miami, I got 100 cars. In my house in Vegas, I got 100 cars. Like, dog, you don't have to do that. There's nobody on this earth that has to do that. So that's why, again, I say I'm never going to put it on race. He's just downright stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, go buy the cars, bro. You got the bread. Go do your investments. Go get your real estate. Have fun. Go travel the world. But like, have a safety net, and he didn't have a safety net. So that's why, and I'll stop. Like, if you follow him on Instagram towards the end of his, like, I guess, quote unquote Instagram career, because he used to post all the time and now he doesn't. Every single post of his was almost like an advertisement for something. It was an advertisement for vodka, advertisement for a training camp, advertisement for this or that. So almost as like he was taking these paid gigs to make money because like he wasn't doing anything else. Like you look at it, he's like, "Hey man, I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I only deal with the best, so I go to the best here at GNC." And it's like, where'd this come from? You know what I'm saying? So like that was his like way to try to scrape little dollars at the end. But it's like, homie, you didn't do it properly. Like again, I go to a Shaq, I go to a Jay-Z, a Beyonce, an Oprah. Oprah's been Oprah rich since the late '80s. Like do something proper. Like again, it's not race. The smart ones know what to do with the bread. You know what I'm saying? So I am disappointed in totality, but again, he's a cornball, so it is what it is.
So
Mm,
I,
good point.
I agree in that this like and it's that whole like where Harold was saying at the beginning. It's just that whole athlete mentality. Like half the athletes, go broke because they don't have the education. Like Floyd Mayweather, you know, he's been born and bred boxing since he was like 4 or 5 years old or whatever. So he never really got the education, just like most athletes, most football players, most basketball players that go broke because all they do is get that big check and spend money. It's just Floyd Mayweather was in a bigger limelight because he was the only boxer and the first boxer to get that much money for doing his thing. So I think it's some of that also. And what I was going to say is like, it's just, I don't know. It's like he just, like he invested poorly, he or didn't invest, and he just want to show off and show out, which, and like at the same time, like think of people hating on him just because he did that, and it's likely because he was black. Because if you look at like say Conor McGregor, he could do the same exact thing, and people will love him for it. He bragged about money. He bragged about this. He went out there and showed off. He emulated freaking Mayweather, and people loved him for it. Like I knew people when they did that fight and stuff, they were like all people that never even watched a Conor fight or a Mayweather fight were hating on Mayweather, but loved Conor, and he did the exact same thing. But it's a white boy compared to a black dude, and they loved him for it.
Wow,
That's
slippery
a,
And then
that's
he
in
slope.
was
most
still
cases.
Yeah,
he was
So
still
man.
it always
loved
comes
Conor,
about.
even though
I
all
have
this
no
stuff he
idea
did.
how you introduced color to that one. That was because it's all right. I'll let it rock.
I'm
I'll
serious.
just
Like,
leave that one.
I don't think he's saying like color is the or that's part of the reason why he went broke and things of that nature. It's
oh
just
no,
the
no,
way
I'm
that
not
people
saying
view
about the
it.
money aspect. I'm just saying about the hating aspect.
Yeah,
But
people can view like a black person that has makes all this wealth and money and so on and so forth, but then they uh, flaunder it just by spending all their money on stupid nonsense, blah 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 blah. But then you take a white guy that does the exact same thing, and everybody's mum, like no one says things like, "Hey, that was pretty stupid of you," and so on and so forth. To add to it, especially in the Conor McGregor scenario, like, oh, not only can you like, squander your money or just do whatever you want with it and like, not be as successful as you were before, but additionally, you can be like a piece of and hit women or assault women, essays and stuff like that. And it kind of gets swept under the rug. And oh, now you're making a comeback, and everybody's like, I mean, that's a whole nother story in regards to the race aspect. But yeah, I don't think Quincy can speak for himself, but I don't think he's talking about like race is part of reasons why old dude is going broke.
No, yeah, exactly. You said it right. Like I wasn't saying I was as far as the hating aspect or the love and the appreciation aspect. And like I said, you can do all these terrible things. You can assault people, like he assaulted freaking athletes on the bus, like trying to, and they use that as promotion for the next fight. Like, come on, dude. If that was anybody else, they would have freaking kicked him out of the event. Like, dude, Paul Daly hit somebody after the fight was over, and he got freaking exiled from UFC, never can go there again. This dude like literally cut people, threw a dolly at a bus, assaulted people, went to another organization, hit a referee there, went to a bar, hit an old man there. Like, come on, dude. Like, I know, like you can say, oh, John Jones did the same thing, but like I said, it's about money, it's about privilege, it's about this and that. Like, if you got that right personality, right amount of money, you making that money for that organ, they're gonna like, okay, just go ahead and do this. Go ahead and that never happened. Just like shoot, I'm not even gonna go too far into it, but yeah,
Yeah, it's a
athletes.
rabbit hole. It can go deep. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's like people. Like I was having this conversation with old girl because talking about like DUIs and this and that. Like this what's her name? Like athletes or celebrities. Like they get DUIs all the time and nothing happened. They got DUIs and hit somebody and nothing happened. You get awarded afterwards like nothing happened. You get woman of the year after you kill somebody. It's like, come on now, what? But it is what it
That's
is.
crazy. So I was thinking about the obviously as black men and all that stuff, we have to be hard, but this there was this page I was following and they were talking about fears and anxieties and all this other stuff and phobias. And I wondered if you guys ever looked at like what phobias you might have or not have, whatever. And I wonder if it's different from a black perspective. Because obviously a lot of us use like religiosity or I'm gonna count my blessings or I'm gonna do all this other stuff to cope with it. But I'd be curious if like in quick hitter fashion, would you say you have this or not? Um,
Do I have any specific
Brian looks
phobias?
confused. No, just
Do
like a
I have
yay or
any?
nah. And if you want to add to it, sure.
I got a couple of phobias. I mean, I got some like surface level stupid phobias, and then I got some like I don't know if it's a specific type of phobia, but like just everyday like how you feel when you're out in the world and how you have to like maneuver around people, and like your carry your demeanor. That I have a phobia about that. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I got a quick list so I can see if y'all uh
But like, yeah, like I'd have to like see. I have to research to see if there's like a name or specific, for how I'm like how I rock in the world. But yeah, I got some. So, and it's short answer, yeah,
okay, so we'll first one, claustrophobia, fear of confined spaces.
I
no,
was gonna say
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, Javier.
still confused by the question somewhat, but if you're going down the list, like
Do y'all think y'all have this or not? Do y'all think y'all resonate
yeah,
with
I
this?
hear what he's saying. I hear what he's saying. So he'll go down the list and we're just gonna say yes or no. Do we have these?
So no, everybody for claustrophobia?
To a certain extent, like no, but yes. So like if I'm in a room by myself or what have you, if it's small, I'm okay. Like if it's a small room where a lot of people are talking all at the same time making a lot of noise, I get little antsy, little that because like say back in the day, like when I worked at Best Buy, I was in the accounting room counting money, and people would come in and start talking. I used to tell them like, y'all either got to shut the heck up or get out because it just made me give me a little anxiety if it's a small room. Like I can do planes and stuff because usually people are not talking, and I can just close my eyes and just zone out. But if it's a small room where a lot of people are talking all at the same time, it gives me a little anxiety.
So I think we're talking about this is the second one, agoraphobia. So agoraphobia is actually fear of crowded public spaces with no reasonable way to escape. So like if you want to like if you're at a Knicks, you know, parade and there happens to be 2 million motherfuckers around you, like does that make you anxious? Does that make you go, you know what, this ain't safe. I don't want to be here.
Nah,
Ah.
so
nah,
so
Not
so
me.
to reference, like um I know it's supposed to be a short answer, but now I have to elaborate on both of those phobias and things of that nature because nothing's like black and white, yes and no, up and down. There's all sorts of different avenues and whatnot, right?
You're on the
But
spectrum. Yeah, we know.
that okay, go ahead, give it that, right? But like, so when you talk about claustrophobia, right? Uh, I don't think I have claustrophobia. I mean, because I can be like, like again, like in rooms and things of that nature, and not be concerned or whatever. But I have like a coughing claustrophobia, meaning like when I'm so tight and condensed in a place where I can't, and if I'm there for a while, the fear comes in that I could get stuck in there. You know what I mean? So like if I'm, doing housework or maintenance and whatnot, I gotta do something under the sink. Okay, well, yeah, that's just my body in this small little area, like working on my sink or whatnot. Or if I have to go into a vent of some sort, and like my entire body's confined in there, like after a while, if I can't move, like I'm constricted or constrained, that's where the
Mhm.
fear will come in that scenario, with respect to the claustrophobia. And it only happens depending on like how tight of the situation is and why it is I'm stuck there. If I'm relying on someone else to get
Yeah.
me out of something, yeah, you get a little fear there. But if it's just like, oh, again, I'm working on some pipes or whatever, and if I feel like, dang, like I can't breathe, like just let me just get out. Yeah, I'm not too fearful there. And then with respect to the agoraphobia phobia one, yeah, like I can go to like a stadium, a Knicks game, a basketball game, whatever else, like or be in like a some type of meeting or some conference, so on and so forth, perfectly fine. However, if I'm at one of those events and I'm one of like maybe three other black people sprinkled around somewhere, and the rest of those parties are of this complexion, not this complexion, yeah, there's a somewhere in the back of my head a fear there, right? And that's just straight up. I'm not lying, or it is what it is. You just have those second thoughts, and so you're
Like, dang,
looking
I
for
ain't know.
you're looking for the exits, you're looking for the other black person, and you'd be like, oh, you're on, and just making sure you got everything, right if something were to pop off, right? So those scenarios,
I,
things
I
can occur.
I
But for
definitely
the
agree with that.
in general, though, yeah, the answer is like, no, I'm not. I don't have either of those two phobias.
So
I think
y'all saying like,
the other distinction too is like, I don't know how big y'all's house is, whatever, but right, you could if you sit in a closet for a while, you might be like, oh, this is uncomfortable, right? I wouldn't prefer to be in this dark room for a longer than a few minutes. But if it's like, I don't even want to go in there because it's too small and what might happen and what the door closes and like that's where like the phobia comes in. Like, well, I don't even want to mess with it because of what might could happen playing it out in your head. Um, but yeah, discomfort I think is quite fine. So, anyways,
yeah.
Quincy, you want to add something?
No, I was just saying agoraphobia for me, it's not like what I was mentioning. It's not really agoraphobia because I can be in a crowded area where it's an open space, like if it's a football stadium, whatever. It's just like a small confined area where there's no exit, there's no open doors, no open windows. That's when I get it. But so it's like probably a combination of the two. But yeah, I feel you. We can. What's the
Okay.
next take?
The next two are aerophobia, fear of flying, and acrophobia, the fear of heights. Are you guys afraid of heights or fear of flying?
Nah.
I'll go. I have a fear of heights, where I don't like ladders. I don't like going up super high. I could do a roller coaster. I could do a plane, but it's just being up or going straight up and down. I'm kind of like, nah, I'd rather not. I'm good. I will also say, like, even like you kind of get that like uneasy like pit in your stomach, whatever. Sometimes when you see something go up and down, whatever. I'll even like we were at a baseball game for Juneteenth. They had a special Juneteenth baseball game thing for the Diamondbacks. And just watching the ball go like pop fly up and down, and I'm like on the second level balcony. I'm like, oh shoot! Like I could kind of get like a little jiggle and a little worry, but yeah, like this, it just doesn't do. I don't do well with that, so
Interesting.
that's one of mine for sure. Fear of flying, no,
Okay.
but fear of heights, yes.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
have a fear of flying, but I do have a fear of not being in control in the sense of like, if you're like, hey, we're gonna go to Vegas. We got this plane flight for Vegas. I'd be like, that's cool. I'll just drive because I have the control and I can decide when I want to leave, when I want to go, so on and so forth. When I'm flying, it's like, all right, I'm in the hands of this pilot. I don't know if he's like, Denzel on Flight or something like that, some type of situation. Like, but you get up in the air and at some point it's just kind of like, hey, if it happens type deal. So, I have no fears flying from that perspective. And then in regards to the fear of heights, I don't have a fear of heights until you're up in that high area. And if like you're able to look down, you know, and it's not so much the fear of like, and this is gonna make me sound even more psycho or crazy or whatever. It's not the fear of being so high and potentially falling, but it's the fear of like the what if, like, well, what if I just felt like I can fly and just jumped off all of a sudden? Or what if like, like someone's
That
mad at
sounds like
me or
something
like,
else. That sounds like suicidal
what
thoughts.
no, what if someone accidentally just wants to, bump? And I think of this a lot when I talk about cruise ships and stuff like, like I'm cool, my wife's cool, whatever's cool, but someone else just has the nerve to get into a fight and they're shoving one another and then I get shoved over type deal, you know what I mean? So that's, I guess, a fear of falling, but it's like not necessarily like, oh, this is regularly going to happen, but it's just some weird way, possibly it can happen. And so that's kind of where that fear comes in for me.
That's funny. You said I
Don,
don't
is he?
just jump off a plane.
Honestly, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't. So far, these phobias, I'm not necessarily. I don't have a fear of. I love to fly. Honestly, I don't necessarily have a fear of heights, but I won't like ever bungee jump or skydive because no, you know what I'm saying. But like no, I love roller coasters and like if we hike and go somewhere high, like I don't mind looking down and seeing the view or like Grand Canyon or something like that. So no, so far I don't necessarily have a fear of these. And like in terms of like the claustrophobia, like I don't know, I grew up in a small ass apartment. So like uh to me I was always not fearful of small spaces per se, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the space that I have now. So, but I feel like if I needed to sit in a closet or sit in a small space, like I did that as a kid. So I don't know. Maybe I,
Hide
I,
and
I
seek.
broke that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hide and seek. Like I broke that early. Now, obviously, like aside from laying in something confined, like a casket or something like that, hell no. But in terms of like just everyday, like small spaces, no. So far, I'm a no on all these that you've read.
All right.
So I got one like I don't know if there's probably a name for it because there's a name for everything. And it's not like I'm afraid of it, but I really dislike it and feel uncomfortable with it. Where multiple people handling my food, I like so like that's why I never like. And it was funny because we did this thing at work where I had this meeting and I was like, we did like the whole two truths and a lie thing. And one of my things was just like I never ordered DoorDash because like I don't like multiple people handing my food that don't need to. Like if I go to a restaurant or whatever, at the end of the meal, sometimes they're like, "Oh, I'll pack your stuff for you. I'll put it away." I was like, "Nah, it's okay. Just bring me the box. I'll do it myself because I don't need you to touch my food after I already started eating it or whatever." Or even like at Jimmy John's or what have you, after you handle my food, the first person like makes the food, you don't need to give it to another person to give it another person to give it to me. Like, no, just give me my food. This one person handle
So
it.
really quick, do you like
So
eating at restaurants then, or are you against people cooking your food at restaurants?
So I'm okay with this is
the
multiple
server.
people. So like if
Well,
once you bring it to me, I'm okay with it. But I don't want anybody after I touched it or especially after I started eating it, I don't want you to grab my plate again and take it to the back and put it away and then bring it back to me. Like the
okay,
first person
because
you can bring it to me, the first person could bring it to me. The person that cooks it could give it to the other person and you can bring it to me, but don't hand it to this person and this person and then give it to me. I
okay,
don't
because
like
typically depending on where you go and depending on what you order, you're gonna have up to four people dealing with your food before you get it. So it is
yeah.
multiple people cooking your food. You've got someone at the main station or the meat station that's cooking the meat. You've got the
Yeah.
saute station that's doing your sides. You've got the fry station if you got fries. You've got the salad station. So like you have up to 4, 5, maybe six people handling your food. Also, someone getting your drinks. So it is like a multifaceted amount of people before.
No,
Yeah, listen,
so no, I'm
working
not
in the
tripping
kitchen,
about like
that what
cooking it
Harold did that
because I
happens.
worked in restaurants, so I'm okay with like the whole prepping and the cooking because I worked in restaurants for 6 years or whatever. So I know that part, but like I said, once it's handled, once it's cooked, once it's
Yeah,
done, once you give it to me, or once it's on a plate, you don't need to give it to another person, and another
Got
person
it.
after I start eating, you don't need to touch my food again. Like that's why I used to get bothered with those. You see those stupid little pranks that going on internet, on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, where they like you start eating and somebody grab your plate and they record it in and like try to take it away. I was like,
that's
if
not on my
somebody grabbed
algorithm.
my plate, if somebody grabbed my plate after I was eating, I was like, go ahead and take it because I'm not gonna eat it again. Like, get the hell away from me. You should never grab my food. First
That's
off,
funny.
that's a health code violation to do that to somebody. So I was like, no, I was like that. Oh, it's cute on the internet, but nah, that's health code violation. I'm gonna sue. I'm not gonna sue, but still, I don't like that.
So yeah, no, that's actually it was on the list. They have one called mysophobia, and it's basically about fear of germs or contamination. So I think
Yeah,
that's kind of included in that, but I don't know if I have that. I've only I wouldn't say I have a fear of it. I've been more cognizant of it in the post-COVID era, which is why I canceled my gym membership and all the other stuff. Just realizing how nasty people are. Um, right on cue, Don coughs right into the face of the mic of the.
That was just for you, bro.
everything is virtual.
That
But
was just for
nah.
you.
So no, I don't know if I had that. Anybody else got that?
To a certain extent, where it annoys me, especially when people don't cover their dang mouths. Like I dated this chick that like would never cover her damn mouth while she coughs. So I was like, dude, you a damn adult. Cover your damn mouth. Especially when if you home alone or doing this and that, whatever. But if you in company and stuff like next to me, you better cover your damn mouth or turn your
Now
damn head.
Like,
I will say when I'm walking through crowds, a lot of times I will hold my breath because I don't want to ingest or whatever people are doing. So I'll do a quick.
Yeah,
And
I
walk
did that
in and be,
before.
and
So
it's be funny because my wife will know I'm doing that. She'll be like, "You held your breath again, huh?" Like, hey, or I'll breathe through my mouth, and I ain't trying to smell whatever else is around people because people are nasty these days.
I
I
only
noticed I
literally
did
do
that a
that
few
when it's
times.
like when I'm around people that are smoking and stuff, and I don't want to inhale the smoke, that secondhand
That's
cancer,
another thing too. Yep.
that junk. But when I think about it, like as far as like I don't want to say germaphobes or what they call them or whatever, but like people that like don't like germs or don't want to do this or touch that and so on and so forth. I understand it to an extent, but then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself like there's too many things in this world. It's one of those like, rabbit hole situations. There's too many different things in this world that like, are way more dangerous than what you think you're protecting yourself from. Just
Mhm.
going with that example right now, you can like not want to have like, be in the midst of people with like, their breath and stuff like that, or they have a cold or they're coughing and so on and so forth. But then you go into that five-star restaurant, you don't know what's happening in the back of the restaurant. You don't know, like I saw the movie Waiting. I know it's BS partially, but at the same
The
time,
brain.
It's
all
not.
sorts of stuff could be happening, right? Just like you see those videos where people like they freak out or get all mad and blah 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 because there's a hair in their like lasagna or whatever. It's like I'm eating my food, I'm enjoying myself. The minute I see a hair, I'm like, ugh, and I'll take it out or whatever. But depending on how big the hair was, and depending on how hungry I am, I'm not no lie, I might still eat that motherfucker. And the reason is because how many like hairs have I already eaten?
No, that
Especially if
they
it's at
did say we definitely
especially if it's at a
consume.
spot that I go to on a regular basis, which has that same regular cook, you know what I mean? And then you think about other things like, all right, I don't know about everybody else, but obviously, like we have kids or we've been with kids and stuff, and all that. We have children that we raised and whatnot. You know what I mean? And I don't know about y'all, but full disclosure, I
Uh-oh.
took my hand, my physical hand, and had to dig out of my daughter's ass when she was like 1 year old or less. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I've touched fecal matter. I believe as a kid I ate dirt. We used to drink out of like the water fountains. I mean, and
Hmm.
I understand times have changed and so there's more diseases and like that nowadays, but miss me with that like, oh, like I'm gonna protect myself from this and this and like hand sanitizer on my entire body and stuff like that because I'm gonna prevent my nah, you're just one, wrong step in the wrong direction away from getting whatever, you know what I mean? So I
I agree.
understand why people, and I'm fully with people where it's like, hey, if I can do something to help prevent it, like Harold, like I'm around all these motherfuckers and this is a nasty area, I'm gonna hold my breath. Absolutely, I'm with you, full with it. Same thing again, me, like, with weed and all that stuff around or whatever, right? But I'm not gonna go like full throttle to like avoid
Hazmat suit.
everything thinking I'm protecting myself, you know what I mean? Because I don't
Yeah.
think it
Yeah,
does anything. It's not, yeah.
honestly, I agree with Brian, and I won't go deep into it, but I agree with him. Like, it's funny that Harold, you said that you canceled your gym membership after COVID, but it's like we were already grown adults and lived life through a life of, I guess, quote unquote, germs and catastrophes and sicknesses and diseases prior to. So, like, why would COVID make you go, man, people are gross? Like, people have been gross since we were born. You know what I'm saying? And yet we were still able to navigate through life every day and being outside and like Brian said, like we grew up like eating dirt, fly, bugs, and drinking this and high-fiving people and like hugging random people. I don't know, just like, so I'm the same way. I don't live life every day being a germaphobe because like you can't, right? And it's like, you know, obviously God's got us and he knows when we're gonna go. And I don't know if like it's a something germy that's gonna take me out. So I can't live life walking around like, ew, I don't want to touch this, I can't go here, I can't go there. Worried about that. Now, am I clean? Do I clean myself? Yes. Do I make sure my kids are clean? Yes. But like I can't necessarily control what happens out there in life. I can't control when
Yeah.
I open a door or go to like open or touch a knob, did 10 people before me wash their hands? Like I can't think like that, you know what I'm saying? Or like when I sit it, like when I take an Uber and I sit in the back of this car, the person before me, were they gross? Did they shower? Like I can't think like that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, germaphobe is like, I'm quite the opposite. I'm with Brian on that one.
All right, we
I
got
just thought of another
three
one
quick
too,
more.
real quick. I
Okay,
just
go
thought
ahead. Go
another
ahead.
one real quick, probably just to gross people out or whatever. But I think of it in the same way that, like you think of other people and like what they could do. Think about what you regularly do, right? And I'm not saying I do this,
You about
or
to overshare.
in the past I would or whatever, and like that I'm like, yeah, no, that's tacky and nasty, and I won't want someone to do that to me or whatever, right? But we're men. We happen to have a certain area. That certain area, when you're sitting in certain ways, might get like, kind of stuck or whatever, where you have to like adjust it, right? So when you stand up, you grab or you might shift your junk. Some people do it over their clothes, some people do it under their clothes.
Mm-mm.
Some people do it like over their jeans or whatever, right? Just to adjust and whatnot, right? The fact that your hands in that area, and then
Mhm.
like you see somebody, you're gonna dap them up or shit. That's why I'm like trying to give the elbow or just a fist bump. Because yeah, it's like, what have they been doing? You know what I
Y'all
mean?
fingernails.
Just in general, like everyday life. It's not like people wash their hands all the time, so it's like, yo, like it's unavoidable type deal. You know what I
Ugh.
mean?
That's
All
funny.
right.
It's like it
We
was
need a
that
palate
joke
cleanser.
that was like every single hand, pretty much almost every single hand you touched or shook touched another somebody's yada. So it's like that's funny. You got to think
Yeah.
about it. Like every time you shake somebody's hand, you know that hand should touch something, right?
All right,
Wowza.
Hill. What else you
Even if
got?
it was in pumpkin pie, even if it was.
I never
One
had no
better.
green pumpkin pie.
So all right, so here's a quick one, maybe. Glossophobia, fear of public speaking. Do y'all have that?
No.
Do you
Nah.
do the whole stare at the back, pick one person out of the crowd thing, or what's your
I do get
I I
nervous
I
at
I
times, but
navigate.
that's it.
I navigate and I look at everybody. You got to because you got to be confident. Like especially being in like managerial positions. I've been a manager in like multiple spots. I'm a manager now, so like, you always at some point you have to know that you're gonna have to speak to multiple people on a daily basis, whether it's 10 people, 40 people, 100 people. So no, I don't pick one person. I look at everybody to let them know I'm speaking. I'm up here. I'm confident on what I'm saying, and
I'm the captain now.
yeah, and you gonna listen. You feel me? So yeah, no, definitely no on the public speaking aspect.
I think that's definitely one that you can almost like train your way or practice your way out of it.
Hmm.
Um, when it's the gravity of like I get this a realization. It's probably somewhere around high school where you build this up in your brain. I got a speech I got to do, or I got a story I got to tell, and there's going to be 300 people watching me. And then you're like, they're probably half paying attention, multitasking. It's not all about you, and it's not that serious. So after you realize it's not that serious and it's not the end of the world, and you don't have to get every word right and every story exactly on point, like you're usually way harder on yourself than people are when they receive it.
For
Um,
sure.
Yeah,
so
Facts.
the overcritical. You're more critical of yourself kind of aspect.
yeah.
So yeah,
Okay,
never
next
have
one
that.
then.
Go ahead.
This is the only new tech version. So do y'all have a fear of calls where you'd rather get text instead because you don't know who you want to talk to, who's going to be up on the phone? And do you
Dude,
have a fear?
hey,
So
hey,
that one's
hey,
called telephonophobia, and then there's another one called nomophobia, where you have a fear of not having signal, being in this place where you ain't got internet.
you're talking to some '80s babies, and like we were in that generation before that even came about, so it don't matter to us. At least that's the way I feel. Maybe other people are
Some
different,
people
but
have
yeah.
adapted where they became addicted themselves.
I will say this: I'm not in terms of like the phonophobia. I don't have that. I think that's funny. I'll still speak on the phone if I need to. The being without service though, that I can't. I gotta be honest. Yeah, that one I'm not the biggest fan of. When we're somewhere and the little SOS pops up on the phone, I'm like, yo, I can't get in touch with nobody. Can't
Like, how
nobody get in
long to
touch with me.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, if it's longer than 30 minutes, I'm like, yo, what? I'm off the grid at this point. I don't know if anything can happen. I'm off the grid, fam.
Does
Like,
that give you
so,
the peace that, oh, now I don't got to worry? Like, I'm just in the moment and I get to either chill, sing a song, listen to
I
something
mean,
local, read a
depending on where
book,
we're at, if I'm at a concert and I don't have anything like that, yeah. But if we're driving and all of a sudden I don't have any access to the world, then
AAA.
it makes you a little on the nervous side. But aside from that, well, because then, bro, I mean, our phone unfortunately is everything today. It's our way we communicate, it's the way we pay for things, it's the way we listen to music, it's the way we just everything in general. So if I'm somewhere in the middle of nowhere and I have no service, yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna hold you.
So as a side note, like when you wake up in the morning, you get ready to, start your work day and so on and so forth, you're packing everything up. Do you freak out when you lose your or you left your phone at home? If you already get to work and by the time you're at work you don't have your phone, like are you like, oh dang, like and the day is just over basically for you, or are you like, all right, well that sucks. Couple hours and then I'll be able to get back online.
Uh, honestly, I mean, I'll admit it. Yeah, I freak out a little bit if I don't have it.
Ah, all
I gotta
right.
be honest. I'm one of them. If I don't have it, if I'm going to the store, one thing. But if I'm gonna be at work or somewhere for a few hours without it, yeah, I feel uneasy. I'm not gonna lie.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
and
inconvenience,
I've
but
been
I'm like, yeah, all right, well, it's I'm not thinking about it throughout the day type deal.
so I
I've been
don't have it. Just what Don said. Like if I'm
in
driving, like if I'm like we went to like, a couple years ago, we went to go. It was like 4 hour trip. We went to go fish or whatever, and there was like a small part, like a half hour, where we lost signal. And it was like 9 o'clock at night, dark and stuff. So that made me a little nervous because like we were using that as a GPS, like because we never went to this place. So that got little that nervous. But as far as just not having signal, like if I was at the store, or if I was at this, I was at a normal day. If I knew where I was going and I've been there 100 times or whatever, and I lost signal, like whatever, it's cool. I'm not tripping. I don't care. Only in the aspect of, hey, if I don't get lost, I don't get. It's midnight. I've never even been in this state. I don't even know where the hell I am. That kind of make me uneasy. As far as like leaving the phone at home, I left it at home before at work, and like it makes you uneasy just knowing that. Hey, what if somebody calls me? Hey, what if my mom calls? What emergency? Hey, if the kids call emergency? That aspect would make me a little uneasy. But just to not have it, I'll
Yeah.
like whatever. There were so many nights where like I got home from work and I got home, spent all night, made dinner or whatever, and then when I'm about to go to sleep, I'm like, oh, where's my phone? I'm like, oh, I left it in the car. It's been in the car for like the last 5 hours. I didn't even notice because I didn't really care. That's why I kind of got annoyed. And I think I told y'all before, like what I did with the kids. Like I used to have that no phone Fridays when I got home because I
Hmm.
got tired of seeing them on the phone all day, every day, or on their tablets or whatever. So every Friday, as soon as I got home, I put everybody's phone in my room, everybody's tablet, and we didn't touch the phones. We just did board games, we did movie night, we did cookie night, we did other stuff, but besides being on our dang devices. So I don't care
Yeah.
about the technology. I don't care about all that extra stuff. Only when, like I said, it's a necessity.
I think the phone could definitely be a rabbit hole, which is also one of the good things about having a watch. I don't know if you guys have a watch too, because then at least it just gives you the alert, like, oh, it's spam likely or whatever. Oh, it's, not important. Oh, it's LinkedIn, whatever, someone giving a congratulations, or oh, like that's a blue black and nuance chat. What are they saying? Like so there might be something that you might actually want to tune into. And then before you get in the rabbit hole of like, now I'm on the phone for 10 minutes looking at nothing. Or remembering I gotta do this and I gotta do that, and here's the task list. And so to do a quick check on the watch is a lot easier and more convenient, I guess. It still has to do with technology and signal and having everything be connected, but at least you don't get caught up in being, all that screen time. So I think that's definitely been a improvement.
Well,
Uh,
that's the thing. The funny thing is when I have the phone with me when I'm home, I'm not even on it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like because there's only so much you can go look at the a score or you go on Instagram and see the same thing. So like when I'm home, I'm not even really on the phone like that. If I'm not using it for searching for inventory for when I'm streaming and stuff, or shopping for the kids or something like that, like 9 times out of 10, it's on the charger chilling. You know what I'm saying? Because like I have all the other devices here at the house, or I'll try to play video games with the kids, or I'll Mildred and I will watch something on TV. Like I don't need the phone for that. So like I actually use the phone probably the least amount in the house for sure. You know what I mean? Because
mhm.
don't you get bored after a while.
Yeah, and
All
then
right.
you got everybody there. You got all the family there, so you don't need it. That's why I was saying like half the time when I left my phone in the car, I didn't even realize it because it's not a
Good.
necessity. You got everything you need and want at home. You don't need to be on there unless, like I said, unless it's for something. You need to look up something.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
really
All
need
right.
it.
So last one, because I know this is running long. Fear of aging or fear of death? Do y'all have that?
Fear of death, 100%. Fear of aging, no, but fear of death, 100%. I can't stand it.
Mm,
I'm not even gonna begin to lie to you. It bothers me not knowing,
mm.
and it bothers me not knowing what happens after. It bothers me on a multitude of things. It bothers me not knowing what happens after. It bothers me knowing that at some point my kids are going to be like hurt. You know what I'm saying? It bothers me that not even just kids, like family and friends, but more or less like at some point my kids are going to be hurt by it. And like you obviously, like, we go through life making sure that we protect them. And I always say, as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to protect you guys from harm. So that the fact that at some point me dying is going to inflict harm on them and all that, and heart pain and heartache, I hate that. And then just not the fear of not knowing, like at any given moment, like that's it. I and you're not in control of that. I'll be honest, it plays in my mind sometimes, and I hate it, especially like as the older we get, and seeing like friends of ours or just on the news, like this actor, this actress, this rapper, this whatever, and they're like in our similar age range. It's like, yo, what? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'll be honest, it does mess with me. I can't even front.
That's real. And it's real because they always say that, we're in our 40s now, right? That's middle age. So you still got halfway to go, but maybe not,
Yeah,
like
like, yeah,
it
or
doesn't
not.
necessarily mean that we're all guaranteed 90 or 100 or 85 even, so it is definitely, but then there's also like for me, I have to quiet my brain down because I'll look at the world as if it's final destination. And like
Hmm.
this thing could lead to that, where who knows? Next thing you know, that gurgle turns into something internally that, so you just never know. Like the scariest thing to me is that idea of a brain aneurysm.
Okay.
The idea where you don't even know what's going on. You're thinking too hard. Some vessel pops in your head, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you had an internal. Like, how does that even like? How do you even plan for that? Like, is that even a thing you could scan for ahead of time? Like, that just sounds insane. That like there's nothing
Exactly.
you could do. It's just your time.
And that's why, calling back to the fear of germs earlier, it's like I can't think about germs when, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think germs is what's gonna take me out. Maybe it is, who knows? But yeah, man, I just can't. And it's funny. So that's why, on the flip side, I don't have a fear of aging, right? Because if anything, I embrace the fact that we're aging. I embrace the little, like, gray patches here and there. I embrace the fact that, I'm maybe not as agile as I once was. So like I embrace the aging because it's like a blessing. I'm like, yeah, I get to see 41. That's fire to me. That's dope. I like it. But then on the duality of it is like, but I also have a fear of death. So it's like, why am I not fear? Why don't I have the fear of aging, but I have a fear of death? Like it's weird. So
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much everything that Don said. Yeah, I agree. No aging aspect, just the death aspect, especially. Yeah, not knowing, not being able to
Mm,
be there, not knowing what's going on or who I'm left behind and who I'm hurting behind, especially after what I experienced last year. That out
mm.
of nowhere, things like that happens. It's like, yeah, that really f's you up.
So
that's one
for
reason
me,
why.
like, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, Brian. No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say as usual, I'm opposite of where y'all.
What's the opposite?
I don't have a
You love
fear
death?
of no, 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 no. See, there you go, trying to put words in people's mouth or whatever.
I'm
Or
just
like I be hating that. But no, like it. I don't have a fear of the inevitable. Inevitably, like the longer you live, the older you're gonna get. Inevitably, you're gonna die at some point in life. So there's no reason to have fear of it. More and contrary to what Harold says, no, like I don't want to die. I don't have a desire to die, which ties into what Don was saying in the sense like, yo, like I got kids. I got kids and my kids are little, like at this point they're dependent on me like for different things and whatnot. Yes, I have like family members and there'd be people that'd be able to take care of these kids if I were to pass on, but I don't want them to, have that pain and that loss of not having a dad. I don't want them to, be raised by someone else that, although they're my family member, maybe they don't have the same teaching habits that I have or something. Or, again, these kids are mine. Selfishly, I want to be the one to raise them. I also want to see them grow and what they do in life and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's points in my life that suck, but then there's other times where I have fun and I enjoy my life, so I'd like to continue to do that more. And so the fear I have is not of death because I know it's going to happen at some point, and I don't for the most part walk around and do different things like that, or I'm hesitant to do things in the sense that it might lead to my early death or unexpected death. But I just kind of again like a thought like when everyone was talking about the fear of the heights or whatever, like we go up to like some exhibit or whatever, like go to the Eiffel Tower, right? You go up to the Eiffel Tower, we're looking out, we see all the Paris and everything, and I just so happen to look down. I look straight down. At that immediate moment, it's like, dang, like if I were to just lean over a little further, if someone were to push me, oh, that's in that fleeting moment, there's a fear. But then I look back up and I'm looking at the sky. Oh, this is a nice view. And then we just go down, right? You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it with life, where there's a brief moment where something may happen, or I can think like, hey, if this person, I'm driving on the freeway, if this person and their semi just does blah, 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 I'm fucked, right? Yeah, but it's that fleeting moment. Otherwise, it's just kind of like, all right, let it be. And then when it goes to thinking about, okay, well, eventually when I do die, if I end up, you cough or something, or like as you age, you get out and like you have back pains or something, you're wondering like, oh, is it something bigger than what it is? It could be, but again, like you think about that, you think about everything else, and you just go down that rabbit hole of misery. So I just try to like brush it off and move on. And if anything, it's just like, all right, I need to prepare more for that time because it could be whenever. And I need to get things right and in place so that my kids, although they will suffer, feel bad because they don't have their dad anymore. Hopefully, like they don't have to deal with all those other aspects. Like, if I have a will in place, or if I have like all my finances in order, and so on and so forth, so they don't have to deal with that on top of the loss of their dad. But as far as fearing that or fearing getting old, it's inevitable, so it doesn't bother me.
So I I feel Brian on that. Especially if you have some sort of spiritual connection, you believe that your soul's protected. You kind of know that, well, since Disney days, they've been kind of teaching us that there's a circle of life, and that in almost every Disney movie, yeah, there's princesses and kings and all that, but there's also some tragic death that happens in which now the kid's gotta become the next heir to the throne or the next, whichever.
Yep.
And so they make kids comfortable with death, I guess, early on, which is kind of crazy in a lot of these movies. Um, but I feel like the aging part, I guess, to me is a little more fearful. And it's not that I have it now because I've still considered like to be somewhat in my prime. Like, oh, when you're in your 20s, 30s, and even early 40s, like you're fine. You can pretty much do a lot of the things that you've always wanted to do, and you're living it up. You finally got to where you could be a little comfortable and make your own decisions, and you have agency over a lot of things. I think when you get to be 65, 75, 85, and you start to think about now I can't function sexually in the same way. Now I can't, it's not that, oh, I can't play ball. It's like now maybe you need assistance to get up and down stairs. Now you're on medications, and those medications make you dizzy or control your blood pressure or adjust your whatever. And so now you're out of your mind and maybe you can't drive the same way. There's all those like joys of living that get taken away where, okay, now I can't drive. Okay, now I can't play ball. Okay, now I can't do this and that with my wife. Okay, now I can't travel as much because planes mess up with my legs swell and all the other stuff. There's all these things that happen just in getting older that then make it not as fun, or now you're a homebody that can maybe play video games. Like that's what you're, or do crossword puzzles is like the modern day. So
I
those
had
are
a
the
question
frustrating
on that though.
things that give me more pause. Not that I have them today, but that I might have them, 20 years from now.
Do you ever think about it though that okay, well, those things that you're doing now that you're fearful that you won't be able to do later are things that you want to do? I say that in the sense of we'll talk about like the intimacy aspect, right? Yeah, when you're younger, like again, doing the intimacy, that's fun. It's enjoyable. It's probably enjoyable right now and stuff like that. But
Probably.
uh, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. So think about like flashback. Again, you've been with Cindy for like 17, 18, 20 years, dang it, right? Okay, so think about when you guys first got married, pre-kids, and how much intimacy you had. Then after kid number one, after kid number two. and then and then now, or think 5 years ago versus now, and so on and so forth. And do you feel like, oh man, I'm missing out or whatever? Because obviously, I'm pretty sure and I say pretty sure, I could be completely wrong, but for most relationships, I think like as you progress in years of your relationship, that frequency of intimate moments isn't as much, right? And some people, yeah, like they're like, yo, you did it like 365 out of a year. Now we're doing it like 360 out of a year. So it's still not the same, even if you're doing it a lot or a little or whatever the case. But it's not like, oh, my life sucks now, I hate that, because you find other things to replace that, where it's like, all right, yeah, back when we were dating, or when we first got married, all we knew was each other's bodies, so we just did that all the time. Now we go on vacations or we go on trips and so on and so forth. Just like another, and I'll shut up after this other analogy, but again, feeling like, oh dang, I'm getting old, so now I'm not gonna be able to go up and down stairs. Well, when you're older, do you really need to have like a big ASS 2-story house? It's a family of four. You got two kids, they left the nest, they're out in college or doing whatever they're doing. Now it's just you and wifey. You don't need all these rooms and stuff like that. Isn't it a hassle trying to like move furniture up and down? Like, wouldn't it be easier just to have a 1-story room house? So I think there's certain things that, yes, you're fearful of it right now, but if you think about it in reality, once you get to that age, hopefully when those things kick in, what's taken away from you isn't that much of a concern, because you're like, I'd rather do this than do what I did back then.
I hope you're right.
It's that, and it's also the fear of the unknown, and that's what I think I had. And I was going to mention that too. It's like it's easy to say that now, if that's how your mind works, that's how your mind works. But not everybody thinks that way. It's like it's easy to say that now, as you saying it, like, hey, this is going to be easy. It's easy to do this, but right now, it's you don't know until you know. And also that
Yeah.
was one of my fears back in the day. It's like I always thought like I said, the fear of no, like if you put your hand in a box, like if you told me there was a spider in there, or you told me there was a snake, or you told me there was whatever is in there, I'll like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll put my hand in there. But if you don't tell me what it is, my mind is gonna be like, what the hell is in that box? Like, I won't do it. I don't know if I want to put my hand in the box without knowing what's in that dang box. It could be empty, but you gotta tell me, kind of thing. And then to play back on the intimacy, like, yeah, it's yeah, like I said, we get older, as far as less often and stuff. But that's just life. It is what it is. It's not like ideal,
I
obviously.
got a question. I got a question for you, just to get a better insight of what you're thinking with this fear of unknown or whatever, based off of that example you presented. So if we're like on a fear factor, one of those things or whatever, and I have this box and I'm like, hey, I need you to put your hand in this box for 5 seconds. And I could either tell here's the option: is either it's unknown, so you gotta put your hand in a box that has nothing in it, or you mentioned a snake. So I'm like, all right, you gotta put your hand in this box, there's a snake in it for 5 seconds. Would you prefer the unknown, or would you prefer the box with the snake?
Snake.
Yeah, like, and me, one of the fears I had was a fear of snakes and stuff. I'm still not a big fan of them. I don't think I'm as fearful as I was in the past, but I guess it's like, all right, well, what's the worst thing that could be in your mind, the unknown? What's the worst thing that could be in that box?
That's it. This the unknown. Like I don't think of what can it be. It's like I just don't know. Like I have to. It's like with me. It's like it could be anything. Shoot, it could be a freaking axe. I don't know. But it is the fact that I don't know plays with my mind.
Mind playing
Everybody's
tricks
mind
on me.
wanders. Maybe my mind just goes, 100
I
miles a
gotcha.
second. So it's just that, like, I'd rather,
Just
like I
know
said,
what
if it
you're
was
getting
money on
into.
life, like
Be
you said with
prepared.
the whole analogy with the fear factor, like if it was money on the line, I would probably do it. Like, hey, put your hand in there for $10 million. I like, I don't want to do it, but shit, $10 million, I guess I got to. But still, I wouldn't want to do it.
I gotcha. Okay.
Dope. Well, that was fun though. I appreciate y'all being vulnerable, opening up.
Of
That was
course.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
A side note on the fear or fears aside, that had me thinking as well. Because I can't remember the last time I had this, but do you guys have any like enemies, like where it's like, I don't F with that person, or like I don't like that person. Not that I don't like that person, because there's people I don't like, but like, like enemies, like or rivals, or like, I feel like as kids, we had people where it's like, oh, that kid, like me and that kid, we don't fuck with one another. I'm not, like, but do you have enemies now at your adult age, like where there's this person at work, I don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with me, or I don't like them, do you guys have that?
I have what's called an on-site list, and this is legit. I've got 3 people on this list. So
Wow.
if I ever see them on site, it's on site. Yeah, I have 3 specifically. Yes.
On site, they're gonna get a talking to, or they're gonna get a slap up.
No, they need to catch the fade. 5 minutes run the fade, and I've let them know that even from years ago. I'm like, I hope I never see you again, but if I do, it's on site. I have 3 people in particular.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
And so just to jump on that real quick, and I'll try to keep it short, but like it obviously there's something in your life that that you had with them, or something happened that led to that on-siteness. And so
mhm.
whatever that is that happened, it's enough to where it's like, yo, like even decades later, it still is.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think
Okay.
about them, and it doesn't mess with me or my soul at all. And like, I'm way past anything that ever happened, and it's great. I just know if I see them because of the type of character that they were then, I feel like they got to see these hands, even if it's just for
Okay.
a couple of minutes. It's like it's more or less like I'm not even mad at you. I'm not even upset. I'm doing so much better than I was. But the second I see your face, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I got to see him. So yeah, I got 3
Okay.
on that list for sure, and
Gotcha.
I don't feel
Okay.
bad about it.
He said, "Oh, you feel
Wow.
bad,
Gotcha.
Harold."
No, not me. I don't. To me, I don't have a lot of grudges. I guess if you cross me, it's tough to get back. But I don't know. For the most part, a lot of those people have been cut out of my life, so I wouldn't say I have any sort of rivalry, anything with anybody. I think the closest I ever came to rivalries was more like when someone makes you look bad, you know, in chess, or someone makes you look bad on, PlayStation, whatever, owning you, and they just get on your nerves on Halo or something like that in Xbox, or if they you always lose to them in a basketball game and like you just can't D them up. But other than that, like mine's mostly sports related or competition related.
So with me, there's people that I don't like and probably would never like, but there's nobody that I would like say that I have an enemy list or animosity. Like if I see him, I'll like I probably would never. I want to speak to him. I was like looking, I'm like that person, like blah. It's like I put a quote on there before. It's like if you have a problem with me, call me. If you don't have my number, then you don't got a problem with me. It's that mentality. Like there has to be an issue where you can reach out to me. If you can't reach out to me, talk to me on a normal basis, then you don't have an issue with me really. And I feel the same about the other ones. Like there's old managers, old bosses, old people, old coworkers or whatever that I didn't like that did some shady stuff. But
Mm,
at the end of the day, they are where they are. I am where I am. I haven't talked to them in X amount of years. I haven't thought about them in X amount of years.
that's a good way to
Oh,
work.
that's dope.
Maybe
Nice.
one day I'll be as mature as you guys, but for now,
Brian,
no.
did you ask that question because you have some yourself?
No. I said I don't have like I was, and I think the reason was because like all my quote unquote enemies or people I don't like or whatever are like all it's like a superficial dislike or whatever, like I'm like Donald Trump or whatever, right? Like I don't even know the motherfucker. I just know like what I see on TV and what he does, his policies and stuff like that. So if I saw him, that would be like an on-site type of thing, I guess, for me. But it's like I
And say
I, I
that?
think
You're
one
gonna fight the president.
yeah, exactly. We'll say fight because I'm not gonna say other things, but but the point being, like, I mean, it's just like I think, and I think when I thought of that, like, where it's like, dang, well, who do I not like, or who do I have a problem with, and like. there'd be people I think about at work, like I don't like that person, he's a buster, but so all right, just don't talk now, just keep it moving type deal. Just don't associate with that person or whatever, right? And then I'm thinking about, well, how long ago was it when I did actually have somebody where like I do not like this person. If I could cause this person harm, I do harm, and I'm like, damn, this was way back in high school. It's way back in high school. This dude, and even that, like me not being cool with this dude in high school or whatever, like it is a trivial thing. It's like me as a kid, and I didn't like the way this dude ran or whatever, the way that he carried himself and so on and so forth. He didn't like the way I did my stuff or whatever. And so I'm like, all right, yeah, but that's again kid stuff or whatever, right? It wasn't like he like did something bad to my family or so on and so forth. Like I've been blessed to where that really hasn't happened. Like
Hmm.
I'm sure like my family's had some hardships or stuff like that, or I've had some stuff that happened to me, but it's just kind of like, all right, well, either that was unintentional or that person was a different person then, or just I guess for me it's just kind of, and I think about it like, all right, well, if I can't come up with anybody or any reason to like quote unquote hate somebody that much or whatever, I guess it's just it's not worth my energy or my time. There's obviously a
Yeah.
whole bunch of bad people, and I know there are people that do bad things, but a lot of it for me is just kind of like, all right, then let me just avoid them and let them live their life. I don't care if they have a pot; they can have the best life in the world. Cool, good for them. I just don't need to be a part of it, and that's sufficient. Versus me, like, kind of being like, all right, man, like, no, like, I need to see this person. I need to see them suffer. They need to. I don't.
Mhm.
And I think this is me just being more of a hippie now or whatever, just kind of like, like let me like just do something better with my energy or my time or whatever. And so I
See,
just try, I guess like kind of like what everybody else is saying, like out of sight, out of mind. And if they come to sight for me, I don't have the on-site mentality of Don yet. It's more so just like, all right, well, they're there. Let me just get away. Like I'd rather, I'm what fight or flight or whatever. I'm like more flight.
Hmm.
Like I'll
yeah.
go elsewhere type deal, I guess.
See, in a lighter way, though, I'm surprised that, because Don and Quincy, you guys both have done sales. And so one
Hmm.
of the corporate tricks they try to do to try to draw more productivity out of people is make it a little competition of who's on the top of the charts and who's third best and who's got the highest commission. Have y'all ever been like, damn, I need to be number one? And it's this buster that keeps winning. Like the closest I ever came to that was first, second, third chair back in when we do band, being the best trumpeter of the team, and I was a lot of times first chair. But like, those type of things. Like, does that bragging rights or having that more lighthearted version of like, was there ever a rivalry that where like they want to be top sales?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, go ahead.
Like,
For me, it's quickly. No, I only because I would never go to the great lengths of what people do to be the number one the seller. So I was always like, hey, do you, if that's how you get it. Like, I was never the one that like, oh, you can't, if they say no the first time, you gotta da. If they said no after twice, I was gone. You know what I mean? But so I would never go to the great lengths and jumps and do the hurdles that the top number one salesperson would do. They would like go above and beyond. They would become a different person. Like, nah, fam, if you don't say yes to me specifically, I'll put some sauce to it, but no. Short answer, no. I was good. I was good where I was at. If I made my money, made a little bonus here and there, enough to where I can keep the job, I was perfectly okay with that. Be number one, homie.
so I'll say opposite to a certain extent. I'll say yes, but nothing like I never did anything like super like shady or whatever to get to that spot. But I always wanted to be the best, and I always did what I needed to do. It's like Jada. I'm, when you say I'm the best, it's a compliment kind of thing. It's like I'm not cocky, I'm confident. When you say I'm the best, it's a compliment. It was just like I had that mentality where I wanted to be the best. That's why when I freaking worked at Google or whatever, like I won those trips every year. I wanted to be employee of the month every year. I got employee of the month, 32 times in a row because I was like busting my butt trying to be that, and it was money involved and commission involved and trips involved, and I didn't care about the bragging rights. I just I went to Hawaii, Barbados, Cabo for free.
You didn't have no haters at that
Oh,
on the
I
team
had
or
haters.
whatever that were like,
100%.
like
I had haters. I didn't hate on anybody because I was
you just
going.
like you didn't care that they're hating. You're like, yeah, whatever,
Nah,
that's you. Okay, yeah.
nah. If you I don't. If I'm looking down, I don't care about you hating. Shoot, I'm cool.
It's a
I'm
good
like,
way to look at it.
I'm looking at you on the ground, like, hey, and that and the only thing that used to annoy me was, and it was just stupid stuff because, like, when I first started, they're like, there's like two people that was like, hey, because you had goal, you had 100% to go, you get X amount, to 150% to go, you get X amount, but there's no cap. There's like, so every time you get go and get more, you get more money. So like, if there's a cap, I would have, okay, at 100%, I ain't gonna get no more. I'll ease up, but I never eased up because there's no cap. But there's like a couple of people that are like, hey, don't keep going above and beyond because they're gonna raise the goal each month. Every time you do it, they're gonna raise the goal. I was like, so I'll do that too. Like, I'm not going to diminish myself to make it easier
Making us
for
all look
you.
bad.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care about you looking bad, or I don't care about you not hitting goal. You can if you want to, but you chose not to because you wanted to slack off. You just want to do the bare minimum. But like, I'm getting paid. Like, I want
You
this
messing up
money.
the grading curve in school,
Yeah.
then, huh? Yeah.
Like I said, like I said, if it was a cap, because I had jobs that capped you at, oh, after you had 120% to go, you ain't getting no more. You get pennies if you do. But if
Yeah.
I'm still getting hundreds and thousands of dollars, all right,
I don't
why
blame
would I
you.
stop? And it's easy, and it's only like halfway through the month. That's why, like, when I went to came out here to visit a couple times and went to Portland to visit before I decided to move out here, I always set it up to be like I would hit go in my first 2 weeks. I would come out here the third week, and then when I came back, I still had one more week to exceed or whatever. And I did that each time, and they're like, "How the hell you hit go and you were gone for a week?" I was like, and I was here for all month and then hit go. I was like, because I busted my butt for the first 2 weeks. I hit it. Then that third week took time off. That fourth week, I made sure I hit an extra 125% or whatever. So I always had that mentality where, especially like I said, when the money's involved, I want to make that.
Give Quincy a time to shine, dust his shoulders off a little bit.
For
Nope.
sure. Like, dude, I
That's
like
dope.
money.
All right, y'all. Well, if y'all want to wrap up with, I don't know if you want to talk about what you've been listening to. I don't know if you had a quick summary before we dip out.
Any of you guys before I go?
Shoot, you
So
keen up here. You do your thing.
I mentioned that Jesse Reyes, which that's the most recent thing I have downloaded, I'll say. I did mention in the text that I was supposed to get into that Alex Isley, and I tried to get it, but I didn't get it, so I haven't listened to it yet. But I remember early on in the year that was mentioned as like a very, very, very good R&B selection by several parties, Dawn mostly, I want to say. So I do want to listen to that because, again, as far as the album of the year, which I feel like I'm continuously trying to, you know, listen to music so that once it comes up at the end of the year, I'm not scrambling trying to find something that'd be my album of the year. I still don't have anything. Everything that I've listened to, it seems like it's like, all right, it's cool, it's good, or it's cool, it's a nice vibe for a little bit, but then it just, you got maybe like 16 tracks, and of those 16, like half of them are good. It's hard for me to put something like that, or maybe even 10 of them are good. It's hard for me to put something like that as like, all right, yeah, this is an album of the year type thing. Like, I feel like if it's gonna be an album of the year, I'm listening to it like front to back. And maybe there's one or two songs there I could care less for, but overall, it's still like a great thing, or something I continue to return back to. And I haven't done that yet. It's always just been phases. One phase will be a J. Cole phase. One phase will be a Yay Bully phase. One phase will be whatever else, right? Even Drake, actually, that was one recently that I've been going back to listening to a little more and whatnot. But it's just nothing's hit me there just yet. But the more recent one, Jesse Reyes, listening to that, the toxicity of it and everything, like stuff that I normally wouldn't care for. For some reason, maybe I'm just in that mood right now, but it's been enjoyable. So that one's cool. They did just have a deluxe version of Bully with two new tracks and a track featuring Lauren Hill or whatever. Just got that earlier today, so I'll probably be listening to that in a little bit. There was a couple other parties that had a couple other uh albums or whatever that people talked about that's like, oh, you should check out this, check out that. So I still have a lot to catch up on musically. But the one that I do still want to revisit or visit in the first place is the Alex Isley, so I can kind of see how what the vibe, what the reasonings were for that being as dope as it's been mentioned.
It's funny, really quick. I'm kind of the same in the sense that for do I have a sure win album of the year candidate? And last year, I remember I had one as early as February when 2 Chainz and Larry June came out with "Life Is Beautiful." Like by March, I was like, "Oh, I don't know what's beating this." Like this, and then like it just progressively got better throughout the year. So fast forward to this year, I don't really have that. I'm right there with you. I don't really have that like this is the one that like is undeniable for me in either category. Now, I do think R&B has been absolutely bodying hip hop this year. So I have more potential candidates, i.e. Alex Isley, Kaylani, that Duran Bernard album, which I think you guys really got to like sit with. I think it's phenomenal. Um, so I do have those, but in terms of like a shoe win so far, I don't necessarily have one as of yet. That being said, in terms of like what I've listened to recently, so Tierra Whack, don't know if you guys have heard of her. Tierra Whack put out a project
Pretty good.
Sunday, Friday. It is good, front to back. It is a
Pretty
good,
good.
solid project. It's I think it's like
She's
28
always been
minutes.
disappointing to me, so this is actually good.
Yeah, and it's she's rapping. And I know you guys how you feel about female rappers. This one is one of those ones that like you need to listen to. She's in that like Rhapsody campaign to me. I mean, obviously Rhapsody is like elite top tier, but she gives off like a little Rhapsody in terms of like just her style and her cadence. And I mean, and she's spitting on there. She's rapping. There's a song on there like Totem. There's a song got every single one. The production is great. It's short and concise. I highly recommend listening to that. It's a good hip hop album for sure. I
The
went back to that
Tierra
one like
Whack.
Tierra
Yep.
Whack, yeah, Whack.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and it's a dope project. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So Tierra Whack, I listened to that. It's good. That's gonna be in rotation. Uh, who else? Oh, Chris Brown did drop the
Yeah,
deluxe
the deluxe.
of
Yeah.
the Brown album. Now,
Chocolate edition.
what I will say is the first it's 10 tracks, the first 10, and I think I solemnly like 8 of the 10. It was really good. So if he just dropped the deluxe by itself, I'm like, okay. But yeah, so the Chris Brown deluxe album I listened to a couple times. I like that a lot. Um and I know I mentioned it in the group chat, but AZ, that Do or Die 3 is a very,
Dope.
very solid, very dope project. AZ sounds the same, number one. It's really refreshing to hear like just some like good old fashioned old school, like just spitting. It's fire. It's phenomenal. Really good production. And it's that like good Sugar Hill, like jazzy type of soulful East Coast New York production, which I love and I miss. Um, so no, that was good. It was good. And I like that our older rappers, our older hip hop artists can come back and put out like like last year, can put out very solid classic, not classic, but just solid good music. It was a really good concise project. Again, like 35 minutes maybe. He's got a Nas feature on there. Nas obviously bodies it. Um, it was good. It was good. So yeah, I haven't really dove in anything super new. That Tierra Whack, the AZ. I'll get to the Jesse Reyes. I meant to do it and I haven't yet. Um, but yeah, I still go back to Alex, and I still go back to Duran. That Duran, you guys, I'm telling you, that Duran Pinar is so fire. And then I
It
actually found
sounds like
myself
it's
go.
over all over the place though. Like
It is,
for
which I
me.
like. Which I like. Well, number one, like you have to understand, like he's his personality's all over the place. So like you gotta like I guess if you can get acclimated to who he is as a person and how it transpires into the music, then I guess maybe you can get with that. But I mean, it's just the fact that he's an artist, he's a musician, and he gives you a little bit of everything. He gives you funk, he gives you soul, he gives you jazz, he gives you slow, he gives you up tempo. And if you're into that, you know what I'm saying? Like just the musicality of it, it's very enjoyable. And it's like almost like, how can you not
So
enjoy it? So
story time. So when we were younger, and this is before like we had like the streaming services and stuff like that, you'd make mixtapes and things of that nature, right?
Hmm.
you burn a CD with all these different songs and stuff like that. And as you're like a kid, or not even a kid, like as you're like, younger in your dating life and whatnot, like you meet a lady that you're like really friendly with and so forth, and then so you want to give her gifts. You happen to give her a mix, right? A little
Definitely
mix, and
did.
they have like
Get to
love
know me through
songs
these
or
songs. Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
things of that nature, right? And then if you meet a lady and you get really close to her, to which you guys are now being intimate, sometimes you might make a mix that happens to I am with
And
that
gets the job
intimacy, right?
done. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. And so I happened to do that in my younger years with my now wife. And I remember I had all these different songs on there that were like, ideal songs for that stuff. And I remember she pointed out to me, she's like, yeah, like, no, it's cool, I appreciate it, but like it's so weird because you'd have this song or whatever, and then like, which is nice, but then like the next song is completely different. I don't know why in my mind I thought this was relevant, but I happen to have that Akinelli put it, up on there, right? So, which is completely horrible.
You gave that to
Completely
a
horrible.
potential girlfriend, huh?
But that's this was a girlfriend at the time, though. But that's the thing, like I had that song on that list that and before that, mind you, like some slow song like I don't know what it was, but like just like like
504
nice and
boys.
like either that or like nice and slow from Usher or something like that. You know what I mean? So you go from that all the way to Akinelli, right? And so it's like it just totally kills your vibe. And I bring up that entire random story just to match it with the Duran Bernard in the sense that like one song I'm listening to, I'm like, dang, like I got like a little bit of a Prince vibe or a little bit of Michael Jackson vibe, and then it flips over to like a vibe where I'm like, it sounds like the country dude, someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey, like
Yeah, yeah,
not the
yeah.
exact same, but like it's like I'm cruising and I'm like, I
The
love this
boozy.
song. The next song, yeah,
Hmm.
Shabuzi like that dude, right? But like I'm cruising, I'm loving this song. Clips to the next track and it's completely different. It's not bad, but it's different, and
It
it
just
just
changes your vibe.
shifted so
It's not
much to
cohesive
it.
enough.
And
I didn't
so
get that much of a shift. It all
I
seemed
I,
very
I enjoyed it. It's just that like I'd have to reorganize the songs in order for me to actually love like the album versus listening to it like front to back type deal.
sequencing. Yeah.
I feel you.
Got
I
you.
started it. I heard like the first two tracks. I want to say it sound clean so far. I got like I don't know. I got to be in the mood set, and I gotta be on a like I was saying before. Like half the time when I go to places, it's a short trip, so I got enough time to hear one or two songs. So I got to just sit down and rock with it. I may have to do that today, and that Do or Die was on my list for today too. So I may have to play those joints. And you being promoting that Jesse Reyes, so I'm gonna have to write these down and put
Yeah.
some work into it tonight.
Harold, what about you?
I noticed you guys skipped past that Vince Staples.
Listen, I'm
I,
trying to.
I I gave it two listens and that was it.
That Vince
Yeah.
Staples was trash. I gotta be honest.
And he was
It
on
was
a
not for
roll, and then
me.
I don't know what that was. Trying
It
to be
was.
an artist.
It was not for me. And I love Vince Staples. So like because I know he's trying to be an artist and be different, I let it rock, but that was not for me. And uh this might be a hot take. I know everyone loves that Isaiah Rashad album. I gave it two listens. I don't
That's
get
my
it.
favorite of the year so far. Still,
It's cool and it's eclectic. It's cool. It's just I don't get it personally. I love the Scissor record, and there were a couple other ones I liked, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe because I don't know. I do like the vulnerability and the transparency. Obviously, after him being outed, so like I appreciate that, but I don't know. It just I wasn't connecting with it. I'm gonna try one more time, but just
you
wasn't
don't
really
have to
for me.
force it. I mean, there's so much music out there.
No, I
Um,
know for sure, but I want to appreciate because I do like Isaiah Rashad, and I appreciate what he was trying to do. So I just want to see if like maybe I'm just not connecting or getting it. But when I listen, I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good on it. But yeah, what else?
yeah. So I haven't listened to a lot of hip hop new stuff. I keep going
Hmm.
back to the Blue in Exile album, which is nice. I did check out that Tierra Whack, which really surprised me. The Boldy James actually was decent, and he has put out a lot of music, and not all of them have been
Hmm.
good. So his little collaboration he frequently does with Nicholas Craven. This one actually was well done as far as produced, so it made the music a little more tolerable. So I like that one. Um, I have been listening to a lot more R&B, but what I really was listening to was old school stuff. I sent you guys over like different collaboration mixes. I've been listening to all of J. Cole's discography and going back to his mixtapes, the warm up, the come up, Friday Night Lights, all the way to his fall off album that he just released. Because if he claims that he's retiring after that, I was like, let me just listen to his whole catalog, and he's got a whole lot of hits and a whole lot of featurings and a whole lot of things that he's done. I'm that's a nice way to go out. So I was proud of his career, and I was listening to that. I was also listening to a whole bunch of Royce to 5'9", because I don't know
Okay.
if you guys heard about him and how he kind of had some medical issue in which he lost his voice, and so he hasn't been able to put out
Yeah.
music in like 2 years because
Hmm.
he
Didn't know
literally
that.
can't talk. He really literally has like some thing he developed out of the blue, and so he lost what his moneymaker was. He can't tour, he can't produce, he can't, maybe he can ghostwrite, but I was listening to old Royce, and Royce has a nice catalog too, all the way back to his stuff, coming up with Eminem in the early 90s,
Hmm.
when he started out with, Taxi Driver and Rock City and all these other types of things, coming up
Hmm.
to when he reinvented himself after, he had that Layers album, then he had his own little Book of Ryan project, and then he did Allegory, and
Mm.
there's at least 5 or 6 songs on each of those that you can kind of put together and make a nice little mix. So I put together a playlist of Royce to 5'9", not to mention his stuff with Slaughterhouse. I was like, you know what?
He still
People
has
underestimate
my
him.
probably if I think about like mixtape series, he's still in my top probably
That
like
bar
three to
exam,
five. The bar exam, his bar exams, bro. Bar exam three to me is I don't think anything can almost touch bar exam three personally, but yeah, his bar exam series, like
that's
I
close with
like
because it's a double disc, and that's close with like Drought 3.
it is. It is. It's up there. But I don't know. When I think of like Cushion Orange Juice and all my favorite mixtapes, like I always go back to Bar Exam 3 is like because he was just literally, with the lack of a better term, barring people left and right. He murdered every single instrumental, and it was just super enjoyable. So yeah, I miss Royce. I do.
Yeah. So that was that. But yeah, so that's all I have to share on that. We can keep it
Right.
short.
Yeah, what are y'all?
Yeah.
We could wrap it up with that. What are y'all plans for today? I know Don, you may not know everything because they're keeping it secret, but anybody
Father's
have
Day.
any plans
The
that
the the
they
the
know
main
about?
thing the main thing is what I put in the chat for you guys. I go get my free burger every single year. They've been doing that for a while. And what I typically will do is, we'll do the Father Day stuff, whatever the kids have planned for me. And then at night, I'll link up with like my dad or my cousins or whoever, and then we all go get our burgers.
Get a
My
black
dad's
bean
actually
burger.
in. I mean, if you want, they do got one. It's good. The veggie burger's good there. So I mean, if you want to go, I'm sure they'll have something for you. But I won't. My dad's and my parents are actually in Denver now, so I won't be able to do Father's Day with him today. But so I don't know what the day has. It's up to the fam. I'm open, and then I'm gonna go get my burger later, and that's pretty much it for me.
How do you have to prove your fatherness? You got
I
to
don't
go with
think
a
you do.
son, a daughter.
I think you just tell them, like, or whatever, right? Like, and they just go off of like
You don't have
the
to prove it at
honor.
all. You don't even prove it. Like they just know at some point, like you're a man. You go in there and they're like, oh, obviously if you're a teenager, no, but like you don't prove it at all. You just go in there and be like, we're here for the Father's Day meals, and that's it.
My name is Harold. These are my pronouns. All right, here you go.
Yeah, facts. But yeah, no, yeah, I identify as a male with children.
Right.
Yeah,
So no, it's
it's
easy.
cold beer. It's cold beer and cheeseburgers. So that I used to like go there on the regular just because one, it's like hella close to where I'm living, so it's just like a couple
Hmm.
blocks away, so I can easily go and do that. But then also,
I
you
never
know,
heard of the place.
really, there's like multiple locations or whatever,
It's
but neither
fire.
here nor there.
I don't eat
Um,
cheeseburgers and I don't drink beer, so I
that's
mean,
that's where like the last couple of years they've been doing like they always do like a fourth of July slider contest, and I did that maybe 2 3 years ago. I did like two times in a row, and again, it's little sliders. You're thinking they ain't nothing, but apparently, like, maybe this is where they're getting older or something because I ain't got that same metabolism. Like, I think like the first time like I had like 9 sliders, and it's like you get as the main sliders as you can eat in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first time I did, I had like 9 or something like that, and I was like, damn, I can't even get double digits. That's horrible. So like I actually was prepared the second time. The second time I got 10 or 11, and I was like, all right, cool, that's it. Like, and apparently even getting like the amount I got was enough for me to get third place. I was tied up with this other dude, and they were like, all right, yeah, like if you're in the top 3, then you get blah blah rewards or whatever and whatever. I was just happy that I got to like, double digits. So I was like, nah, you can let him have like this and that. Everybody gets a free t-shirt and junk. So I mean it's a cool spot. And again, they do have multiple locations and whatnot. However, I also follow on TikTok this person that does like all freebies and discounts and blah blah blah. So they have like a whole like post talking about all the different things you can get as a father for Father's
Mm-hmm.
Day. So you can go to this place and I think like Jimmy John's, for example, is buy one get one free with the code blah blah for a dad, or so you come here at this place and you get a free ice cream. And so I might be like just going and hopping from spot to spot to spot to get a little bit of free this, free that, etc. But yeah, when Don point that I did remind myself, I was like, oh shoot, yeah. So I might actually be stopping there to, grab either a lunch or dinner as well. Get that free burger while I can.
Go get that.
I wish I could do that. That sounds cool.
Yep.
I'm sure that if
Treat
not
yourself.
that spot, I'm sure they have spots in Seattle as well. They'll have like something father related. So just
We'll
gotta
see.
figure out what it is.
I gotta find it. Yeah, I saw that Jimmy John's one, but it was on the toasted sandwiches, and I'm not a big fan of toasted sandwiches. Sometimes they gotta be the right one. But in that
That
same
sounds
sense,
like a topic. But
I don't need toast 2 sandwiches right now, especially 2 hot sandwiches. You put one of those in the refrigerator, and you're like, it's not gonna be good the next day or whatever.
So
But
then just eat it.
like, shoot, I ain't trying to eat 2 sandwiches right now. But not 2 hot sandwiches back to back. I'm cool. But and like I said, and the fact that I'm not a fan of toasted sandwiches,
that's
it's
the
like
real
I'm not
reason.
gonna force myself to eat it.
No. The real reason is because he sees them motherfuckers touching his sandwich when they make it, and he don't like people touching his food.
That too. That's why I don't look. I close my eyes.
That's
making a sandwich.
crazy.
Dude, nah, that's funny. That brings me back to when I was a kid. When I worked at Six Flags, there was like a Subway in there, and I was the supervisor of one other restaurant, and I wasn't supposed to do this, but I did it anyway. I used to go into the Subway, make my own sandwich, and then just leave and stuff. They used to just look at me like, "What the hell is this dude doing?" But I literally would go in the Subway, make my own sandwich, and I would pay for it or whatever. But sometimes I paid for it, sometimes I didn't. But
I was
Looking
say,
at you like
sure.
you bro, man.
yeah, so I was like, then eventually they're like, "Hey, you can't do that anymore." I was like, "I'll put new gloves on. I'll do this. I'll give you. You just give me some money, and I'll give it back to you. I'll just break it and give it to you for free. But you can't come in and make your own sandwich anymore." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." But
Busted. Got you on camera.
yeah, exactly. But it was cool. But yeah, the only thing I got going on, I'm gonna hit up the homie's house later on. Gonna have a little barbecue. Just chill, have a little conversation, some barbecue, and maybe a little stogie and a beverage, and call it a day.
Yep. That's good. It's gonna be a hot one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
be
is.
nice.
Well, shoot, happy Father's Day to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. Y'all take care. Y'all be safe out there. Go enjoy y'all burgers. Enjoy your time.
Black fathers. Yeah.
Yep.
There all day. Until next time, y'all.